keypad. To withdraw your question, press the pound key.
Thanks, Stephanie. And we were going to start off with Coach Greg Lansing of Indiana State. We're still working to get a hold of Greg, but we do have Coach Porter Moser of Loyola with us, and we'll start off with Porter this morning. Morning, Coach.
Morning, Mike.
How's your summer been so far?
Great.
Well, let's get right to the questions for you. Questions from the media for Coach Porter Moser of Loyola.
Press star then the number 1 to ask your question. Star then the number 1. Our first question is from Dave Reynolds with the Peoria Journal-Star.
Good morning, Porter.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Good. Just wanted to ask you your view of the Valley now with Wichita State out and Valpo in.
Well, I think the Valley is always risen when teams have left. I've lived through, obviously, Tulsa was in the league when I played, and then they left, and then you get teams like a Northern Iowa coming in. And look at the culture Northern Iowa's built and the addition they've been to the league. And it lost Creighton, and then I think Wichita went to a different level, and other schools have risen. I have no doubt in my mind that some of these programs, the culture that's being built right now, that is going to continue to be a deep, great Missouri Valley Conference. I believe that. I look at Valpo being an addition. And one thing about the Valley, they've always had great culture programs, like basketball tradition, fan bases, the culture within the team. And I saw Valpo firsthand when I was in the Horizon, and they have that. And that's something they're going to bring right to the table. And I think the Valley's going to be extremely strong.
The other thing I was wondering was if you could just give us a rundown on your new guys. I know you haven't had a chance to see them much yet, but who you've got coming in there that's new this year.
Well, one person's new that was here is we had a Division I transfer sitting out, Marcus Towns, 6'3" guard from Fairleigh Dickinson. He went to the there, averaged about 10 points a game. Very strong, tough guard. So he sat out. We've had some success with some sit-out kids. Milton Doyle was a sit-out from Kansas, and Clayton Custer was from Iowa State. And now Marcus is going to be eligible this year from Fairleigh Dickinson, so he'll be new. We signed 3 high school players from Illinois, added some size. 6'9", Cameron Krutwig is going to give us I think he's going to be a very good post player in our league for years to come. Christian Negron, 6'6", 6'7", athletic post player here from Elgin Larkin. And then Lucas Williamson, a 6'4" guard from Whitney Young. And then we also added some experience in a junior college transfer, Darius Avery, 6'3", athletic guard. And then we took a grad transfer from North Dakota, Carson Shanks, 7 foot, gives us a piece of the puzzle with some size. So we lost some guys, but Milton was the big guy that we lost. He obviously was first team all league, but we have some other guys like Tyson Smith is going to medical redshirt. He had 2 ACL. Maurice Kirby is going to be a grad transfer at IUPUI. So and then Matt Chastain obviously is transferring. And then Vlaco Gronick is decided to go back over and play pro overseas. So all of a sudden we had some scholarships, but I really feel like we've upgraded some talent, we've added some pieces, and we got a good nucleus back as well.
Thank you.
For Dave.
Your next question is from Paul Boren with Northwest Indiana Times.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time here.
Hey, Paul.
What's maybe 1 or 2 things you learned in the transition from the Horizon League to the Valley when Loyola moved about 4 or 5 years ago?
The traditions of the programs, the commitments of the schools, everything is just the bar is raised. It's not a disparage at all on the Horizon League about the talent there or the coaches there. It's just an overall level of excellence the Missouri Valley has sustained over a long period of time. And I believe that just the cultures of these programs and the commitment they've made. has been at a high level with the fan bases, the knowledge of the fan bases. I've also found that the reception from coaches and student athletes in the recruiting process, it's still, and it always will be, an extremely high, reception to the Valley, like in the recruiting process. And with Wichita leaving, it hasn't changed. To be honest, people are like, gosh, that really opens the doors. A lot of people, and I'm just going to say that out. It does. The reception hasn't changed in the recruiting process. When we talk to coaches and student athletes and family, the Missouri Valley still carries a ton of weight of respect in the recruiting process.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure.
Your next question is from the line of Harry Schroeder with the Valley Hoops Insider.
Morning, Porter. I wanted to ask you about Milt's NBA opportunities, of course, and I wanted you to kind of talk a little bit about your new coach there, Drew Valentine, just what he brings to your staff.
Sure, Harry. No problem. First of all, I'm extremely proud of Milt on where he's taken himself. And Milt, a year ago, we were having conversations, people get in kids' ears, oh, should you go out? And I had to have a tough conversation. I said, Milt, you're not ready. You didn't have a great junior year. I go, you got to get stronger. You got to do this, this, and this. And he completely was bought into it. And that's what you hope. You hope that for your kids. You hope that for your student athletes. He had the best summer of his off season. I said that a million times. And he has put himself in a position to now where he got invited to a couple workouts, and word is spread. His workouts now are coming fast and furious. People are getting him in there. He's a tremendous playmaker. He's really good off ball screens, and that's one of the things we're going to miss the most on our team this year. And the NBA has gone to so much ball screens, and Milt has some length to him. He has a feel. He knows how to pass fake off. He knows how to change speeds on ball screens. How strong he is to defend, can knock down that shot, is really going to be a telltale of what happens here. But I think people are excited about his playmaking ability and his ability to change speeds. He gets it, and so we're really hoping. But I'm so happy for him that he's seeing these opportunities come about through hard work and dedication. So I really think it's been a game changer in his life for years to come for him. We just had our 5th assistant coach in my 6 years here move on to a Power 5 conference. Benny Seltzer took the Washington State job. I get poached. Really, 5. It's really 6 if you count Mike Lewis, who left the Butler right away, but he didn't even last the season. But I'm really happy for Benny. He's going back to his alma mater. But I hired another guy that I think is a superstar, Drew Valentine. Drew played at Oakland, played in the NCAA tournament when he was at Oakland, was a GA under Coach Izzo at Michigan State, went to the Final Four. His younger brother's Denzel Valentine with the Bulls here. Then Drew's been with Oakland and Coach Campy there and done a great job. They won it last year, and they're preseason favorites this year. And he's been around winning cultures his whole life. His dad was a high school coach. Great energy. Really excited to have him.
Thanks, Porter. Appreciate it.
All right, Harry. Good luck. Have a good summer.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Cody Goodwith with the Des Moines Register.
Hey there, Coach. I know it's been a couple months since he was hired, but I wonder if you had any thoughts on Nico Medved and kind of what he brings to both Drake and the Valley.
I've known Nico for a long time, and I think Nico is a tireless recruiter, and he's one of those guys that, as a young guy coming up, and he's been in it a long time, and he, like all of us, every one of us are trying to learn every day, and he is, his arrow's always been pointing up, and how much he's learned. He went into. I look at going into programs and seeing what you did when you got there when it wasn't established. What he did at Furman, because I've had to do that, and it's not easy. Changing culture, changing perception, and Drake's got a ton of things going for it. The academics, the location, the facilities, the people. So I think the world of Nico, and I can already tell, unfortunately, how tireless a recruiter he is. His name's mentioned everywhere, so I think he's going to be very, very good.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Your next question is from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Hey, Porter, you kind of touched on that with Milton Doyle. So what do you think? Do you think he can go in the second round, or do you think he's more of a free agent at this point?
You know, it's so hard to tell. Yeah, you know, Todd, it's so hard to tell because you don't really know. You know, I haven't been in any of these workouts and much under the vest of, you know, you've been answering a lot of questions. They've been vetting a lot of things, and you hope that. But I tell you, sometimes it's better not to get drafted at the end. I mean, look like Fred VanVleet didn't get drafted, and I think he went to a spot like then you start looking at spots to get called in to have, you know, to call the camp to where you might have a shot to make the team. You know, sometimes that happens. I remember I played with Chad Gallagher, this is going way back a Valley, and he got drafted the first pick of the second round by the Phoenix Suns. Oh yeah, it was great. He got drafted, but they didn't have any guaranteed spots on the team. They were totally full, and then he had to go overseas. So, you know, it's fun. It's great to get drafted. It is, but sometimes it doesn't mean you can't make the team. If you can find a team that has a need, a spot, and an opportunity that that might work for you. So, you know, we're hopeful, but I really think his arrow's going up, and I think people are excited about him.
And when you look at your team, you've added some good pieces. What do you think the next step is for guys like Dante Ingram and Andre Jackson that kind of play the forward, kind of play the perimeter a little bit too?
You know, the leadership role. You know, we've kind of the last 4 years, Milton Doyle's been probably the name you mentioned first with our program, and you know now some. You know, we kind of sometimes deferred to Milt in a lot of situations. He had the ball in his hand a ton. So it's about some guys stepping up like Clayton Custer, Ben Richardson, that have the ball in their hand a lot to make other guys better. And that, you know, I think we got some good pieces, but we got to bring that out in them. It's our job as coaches and some of the leaders. But leadership is going to be a big factor. But, you know, with Dante and Andre, I think they're two guys that, at least by their effort this summer so far, have shown me they're ready to take that role because they're off to running out of the gates with their effort this summer.
And you know, the graduate transfer rule, it doesn't seem like it's being used, you know, by anybody really for what it was supposed to be used for. Has your opinion changed on that? You know, now with some of the teams in the Valley picking up graduate transfers this year.
Yeah, my opinion is the same. I think we got to do something about the rule. I mean, it's something's got to change. There's been things talked around about, you know, you have to have them graduate or you get penalized, or, you know, stuff like that. I mean, there's been a lot of different things. Something's got to change. But I will say this. I mean, a lot of coaches will be hypocrites if they don't admit it. If it's in place and you have the opportunity to use it, you use it. Like we lost one to a graduate transfer, then we took one. The rule's in place. It happened. I think it needs to be changed, though. I'll be the first to say that. I think something's got to happen. Something's got to change. It makes you hesitate on redshirting kids at, you know, Division I. I'm very fortunate. Milton Doyle could have transferred last year and decided against it. And, you know, what a great example that was for someone who stayed where he was, and he had a great year. He knew the system. The fan base knew him. He knew the league, and the league knew him, and it's worked out. I think he should be a poster child for not listening to people to tell him to transfer to greener pastures. And so I think that's still scary for our level with that. You know, Illinois State has too. You know, it's scary. But if the rule's in place, I think people are still going to utilize it because it's there.
So where do you think the outrage is for changing the rule if it's not from the Coaches Association or the Rules Committee or the Playing Oversight Committee? Where does it have to start, you think?
Well, I mean, it's got to start with the people who are making the rules. I mean, like, you know, it's funny. We sit in these head coaches meetings at the NCAA, and the rules, you know, everything is about litigation. Everything's about what's going to be, you know, what's going to be something that won't be litigated. And for us, we've got to find something because if you don't think that there's a million voices coming at these kids that are, I mean, there's a graduate transfer list circulating mid-season. I mean, people are knowing who's going to become grad transfers. That's crazy. That's crazy to know that, and that's out there. And this has got to change. It's got to stop. But it's, you know, they got to find a solution for it, and I think it starts with the people that are making these rules.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pentagraph.
Porter?
Yes.
Porter, you talked about the door really being open to a lot of people with Wichita State gone. Do you kind of see the league as really no clear-cut favorite from the start?
Well, I have my ideas who I think is clear-cut favorite.
Who's that then?
I do think that I don't know. I think it's going to be really balanced. I think there's never going to be a year in the Valley where the preseason predictions mean nothing. They're going to mean nothing. It's going to be a year where a lot of newcomers are going to have impacts. I think coaches know when they look at who signed who. Like, we kind of know, like, wow, that person's going to really help them. But outside people don't really know that. And I think there's going to be a lot of programs that have guys back that are going to be stepping up, that they might have lost a guy here or there, and then all of a sudden a new guy stepping up. I think this is going to be a very, very deep year in the Valley.
Thanks.
All right, Jim.
Porter, that was your last one. Thanks for joining us this morning, and have a good rest of the summer.
All right, Mike, take care.
Thanks, Coach. We do have Coach Greg Lansing of Indiana State with us, and at this time we'd like to welcome Greg to the line. Good morning, Coach.
Morning. Hey, sorry about that. I called 10 minutes before, and I was on hold for forever. So
that's all right. Thanks for waiting patiently through all of Loyola.
Yeah.
And
then you get behind Porter, and Porter could still be talking all day.
Well, you got a great scouting report on the Ramblers.
Yeah, I did. I got to listen to my buddy.
Yeah, let's get right to questions for you. Questions for Coach Greg Lansing from the media.
Press star and the number 1 to ask your question. Star and the number 1. Your first question is from Cody Goodwitz with the Des Moines Register.
Hey there, Coach. I know it's been a couple months since you took the job, but I was wondering if you had any preliminary thoughts on Drake coach Nico Medved and kind of what he brings to both Drake and the Valley.
Well, I just hope they base the outcome of the game on coach's height in this one. So I hopefully that bodes well for the Sycamores. But no, Nico's a good friend, and really, really happy for him and his opportunity. He's worked with great people. He's always done a good job of recruiting, and he's shown when he got the opportunity just how good a head coach he is with what he did at his last stop. And then he hired a great hire in Dave Thorson, who's been a good friend. He was a GA when I played at South Dakota, and I know how good he is. So they're going to be something to be reckoned with. I know they'll recruit like crazy. They got a great product there. I'm from Des Moines, so I know just how good a spot that is. So very happy for him, for one, and welcome him to the league.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Hey, Greg, what did you think you really needed to add to your team this year?
Well, last year we weren't as good as we needed to be, and that's on me as the head coach. And I just think we overrated our talent a little bit and the leadership of the seniors. And we had really good guys. We had good people that I enjoyed being around every day, but we were not as good as we needed to be. And we went out and made some changes. We added 5 quality pieces. Not only are we adding talent, we're trying to build a team with depth at every position. And I think how things have gone so far with our new guys, I couldn't be more pleased with what we brought in and the mentality of the guys returning.
What do you think of the next step for Brenton Scott is this year?
Well, I needed to help him more last year. And again, we had 4 seniors that I just wish would have stepped up a little more in the leadership role than what they did. I really had to try to do that with Brenton myself. Defenses play him a certain way. We just got to do a better job of getting him opportunities to where he doesn't feel like he has to force it. But we didn't really have scores step up last year, so Brenton, we had to rely on him a lot. We had to rely on him offensively, but we're going to put the ball in his hands at the point a little bit to have him start our offense and get him moving, run some better things for him. He's got to do a better job, and we got to do a better job for him.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Harry Schroeder with the Valley Hoops Insider.
Morning, Greg. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you.
I asked you about the change for Marcus becoming the associate head coach after you guys lost Lou, and then if you could talk a little bit about Devin Thomas and Clayton Hughes. I know they're guys that just been reading some stuff about them. They're pretty intriguing.
Yeah. For one, losing Lou, we owe him a lot. While in his tenure we had an NCAA tournament, 2 NITs, and did a lot of good things, and a lot of that had to do with just how good Lou is, and we wish him nothing but great things at New Mexico State. But Marcus is tremendous. Not only was he a really good player and a big-time leader on a Sweet 16 team at Southern Illinois, he worked with Marty. He played for Coach Weber. He's had a lot of good coaches that he's worked for in his past, and he knows what he's doing. He can do every aspect of the job. He's going to be a tremendous head coach when he gets his opportunity, and I'm really happy for him. He and I have a great relationship and a friendship, and excited about what he's doing for us, and excited he's going to become a first-time father here in July. So a lot of good things happening for the Belchers. Devin Thomas, we had our stretch 4 has always been a very important position for us, and that is for everybody just because of the ball screening. That guy's got to be able to pass, dribble, and shoot, and adding Devin, who led a very good mineral area team in scoring, rebounding, and block shots, and he can pass the ball. He's got a high IQ, so we're really excited to what he brings to the table with us, and being able to add Clayton Hughes late, coming off a year at Hargrave Military Academy. They'll feel very fortunate to be able to, after the coaching change at Wilmington, to have a chance to get him. A great kid from a great family, super athletic. Those are 2 lefties that you're talking about, so we got 2 lefties on the squad now. But we look forward to great things from both those guys.
I want to ask you about Davis, too. You get a grad transfer and a junior college guy in Thomas. Did you guys need some age, maybe some veteran leadership?
Oh, we did. We needed everything, Harry. We really did. We had to be better than what we were last year, and being able, usually our level is losing 5th-year transfers, and we always keep our ears open. And I think a big reason why we had an opportunity with Kedar is coming off a knee surgery, and we felt like he is a hard-working guy, a competitive guy that's played in a lot of big games, and his maturity could really help us. And we needed a bigger wing that could make plays and do things on both ends of the floor. So we really, really feel fortunate to be able to add him late, and very happy already with what he's doing.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Have a good summer.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks.
Your next question is from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pantograph.
Greg, you've been in the league for a while, and obviously losing Creighton 4 or 5 years ago, and now losing Wichita. What's it going to take for the Valley just to kind of regain a little bit of prestige?
Yeah, I hate that. I'm from Western Iowa growing up, and always, Creighton was always a big name, and Wichita, obviously. What those 2 programs have done is just taken it to another level, and it's they've gone after what they wanted with their basketball program, and they've accomplished great things, and I think that will only continue. The other programs in the Valley, it's still a strong basketball league. The Valley carries weight with the mid-majors. I think adding Valpo I think is a great fit, but there's been programs that everybody's trying to elevate, whether it be facilities, whether it be budgets, just the way they're doing things. And I think with the leadership of Doug Elgin and Mike and Jack and everybody that's helping us, I think we're going to be just fine. I heard Porter talking. I haven't noticed anything negative in our recruiting. We talk about it being a little bit more wide open after the dominance of what those programs have done in the past, and it's up to us. And I've always said this: it's up to us to raise our level. It's each program in the league has to do that. If they want to fight for some NCAA berths and some championships and things like that, we have to go out of our element and not go with the status quo. We have to make things better. We have to make basketball more important on each campus, and I think everybody's trying to do that.
And like you said, just kind of Wichita gone, how much hope does that give to really every team that this thing's kind of wide open now?
Well, our goal, each coach every year's goal is to win the tournament and go to the NCAA tournament. And realistically, how good they've been, I don't know how realistic those kind of thoughts are. I remember Coach Waltman used to pick Indiana State first every year, and then that wasn't the way it always worked. But it is more wide open. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. You know, a lot has to do with what the newcomers are going to add to each program. A lot will have to do with health, and a lot will have to do with some good fortune. But there are a lot of good basketball teams with really good players coming back. It's always been well coached. That's not going to change at all. And it's going to be a heck of a fun year.
And how much do you expect is a Tyreek Key to make an impact for you guys this year?
Well, that'll I'll be seen here as we go along. But I know this: he's an explosive offensive player that can score in a variety of ways. I don't care that he played at a small school. He's already shown playing with our guys that he can get baskets whenever he wants to. He adds another score to the wing where it doesn't just have to be Brenton Scott out there trying to make all the plays. He gives us great depth. He can play point. He can play off the ball. He's a hard-working kid that just lives in the gym, and I like those kind of guys. So he's fit in awfully well, and I think he could have one heck of a career here.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Paul Orem with Northwest Indiana Times.
Hey, Coach. Paul Orem.
Hey, Paul.
As the Missouri Valley coach who's most recently played Valpo at the Arc, I'm wondering if maybe you can just touch on where that facility and that kind of game day atmosphere fits in with the Missouri Valley Conference.
Well, we didn't give much of a game up there. They were a very good basketball team, and we did not compete, which we didn't do at some of our games this past season. I think that Valpo knows. Obviously, it's a great basketball program and done very, very well. And be an in-state rival, it's an easy travel trip for us. Valpo knows they have to upgrade the facility. It's not an easy win. We had some tough weather the times that I've been up there, and the times that last year, so the crowd wasn't as good as it normally would be. But I see them stepping their game up, and they may find some different challenges, some new challenges, but that's still Valpo, and it's still a good program, and I'm sure they'll continue to improve the facilities, and they'll fit in very well in the league.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greg, that was your final question. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, buddy.
All right. See you. We have Coach Brian Wardle Bradley with us, and at this time, I'd like to welcome Coach Wardle to the phone. Good morning, Brian.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Doing well.
Good. Let's get to the questions for Coach Brian Wardle. Questions from the media.
Press star 1 to ask your question. Star 1. First question is from Paul Orem with the Northwest Indiana Times.
Coach, good to be covering a team with you at the helm again. Just what did you learn transitioning from a school in the Horizon League to a school in the Valley?
Well, I in my situation, it was different. We had to rebuild and start from the bottom up. And so anytime you join an all-basketball league like the Valley and got to rebuild, you're going to take your bumps. And I do know this. There's a lot of great coaches, a lot of tenured coaches that have winning cultures and winning programs and have had big years within their program over their years. So I think that's a difference between the two leagues. Also, just playing on the road, the venues, the fan support, the commitment to basketball from each school, that hopefully we can continue to grow and get even better. But from the most part, you can sense all those things every time you go on the road and you play an opponent. Is just the commitment and the tradition and the love for basketball within this league.
And I guess if I can follow up, you're going to be coming back to the Arc at least once a year. Is that a place that gives you chills a little bit? I think you broke your foot coming off a bus once. Just what do you think about coming back to Valpo?
Oh, it's a great basketball tradition. They have a great history, a tough place to play, obviously, and obviously when I was there at Green Bay, we had some battles and we had a lot of great games and some great series going. So hopefully we can continue and build that with Bradley and Valpo for sure. But it's a tough venue. It's a small gym. It's loud. It's definitely a home court advantage, and I think every team in our league is going to, if they haven't played there before, they'll realize that in year one.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Cody Goodwith with the Des Moines Register.
Hey there, Coach. I know it's been a couple months since he's been hired, but I was curious kind of what your thoughts were on the new Drake coach, Nico Medved, what he's going to bring to Drake and the Valley as a whole.
Well, I've gotten to know Nico over the years. One, I think he's a tremendous guy. I've really enjoyed talking basketball with him, talking life with him. Just a really good person. And I think he's obviously did a great job at his previous stop. So I think very highly of Nico, and I think as a competitor and as a competitive coach, you want the best coaches in your league, and you want to test yourself every night. And I think he's definitely going to do a great job at Drake. I'm not sure what exactly he's inherited, or every situation is different. Every job is different. But I do know that Nico, I think, has a very smart basketball mind and is going to, build Drake the right way in the coming years.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Hi, Coach. Just this year, how closer do you think you are to playing how you want to play at Bradley this year?
Well, I think the trendy cliche to say is, every program you start to see in year 3 or 4, the new identity of the coach and the leadership of the program and my staff. And I think you'll see that even more so with our team this year. We actually have a couple seniors this year, so that's nice to have. And we got some guys returning and with some experience. And, our personnel, we didn't have an overhaul of the roster like we did when I inherited the program and after 1 year. So we got some continuity back. And I think just having that continuity, more consistency, our guys are a lot more confident and comfortable right now in how we train and how we work. And I think all that leads to more confidence. But we still got to prove ourselves. I mean, we talk all the time. Today matters. The past is the past. We don't look back. We love the pieces we have right now, but we got to continue to train and get in the gym and get in the weight room and work as intense as we can every day because we have not proved anything yet, and we got to go out there and learn how to win this year.
And what are you putting on your seniors, Thomas and McGlaskin, this year or this summer, I guess?
Well, with them, it's just they're great young men, but I'm really challenging them to be more consistent and have a senior. You always talk about senior sense of urgency. You want all your seniors to show that. That don't let 1 day go by, 1 week go by. Every day matters, and I'm just trying to get them to have that little bit of urgency. But just those two guys, if they can just be consistent in their approach every day, in their habits every day, they're going to have good senior years because they're talented young men. But I think that is my biggest word I'm using with those two as seniors is we just need the same Dante Thomas and JoJo every day for this team to be successful.
With so many people back, what did you want to add this year in the off season? You added one JUCO guard that can shoot it and can score it, but is that really what you were after, or was there just one specific position you wanted to upgrade?
Well, we wanted to get a little more athletic on the front line, and we wanted to add another playmaker for sure. And we got Elijah Childs, who, we have our whole team here right now in summer school. Elijah's going to bring that length and athleticism. We need another piece there. We felt like to defend and rebound a little bit better. And then we need another playmaker, another guy that could get in the paint, that could create for others. We feel good about the shooters we have coming back. Now they all have to prove themselves better in this coming year, but I think we had some guys really perform well in Valley play, especially down the stretch and when it comes to shooting the basketball. So we needed one more guy that could get in the paint, create for others, and make some plays, and we added that in Lukeman Lundy with our junior college guard. So, and then we have Ryan Stepanovich, who's a 6'7", 6'8", kind of wing, big wing that's very skilled, that can make shots, that can pass, that can dribble, and he's just got to get a lot stronger. But so far, looking 2 weeks in, we're very, very happy with the needs we had. We feel like we have done a good job of filling.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Your next question is from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pantagraph.
does the departure of Wichita maybe give more hope to other teams in the league this year that this thing is going to be wide open and it's going to be kind of up for grabs?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely an easy answer. I think for every coach is you're looking at Wichita State, who would probably be a top 10 team in the country and have a chance to win a national title if they stay healthy. And I think this year going in the Valley of Play, there's a lot of teams. There's some teams that return some players. There's also some teams that are filling holes and reloading a little bit. So it's going to be an interesting year in the Valley. I think every game is going to be highly contested and competitive. And there's no doubt, I would say most coaches in the league are saying, why not us? And now it's just, you can talk, like I always tell my players, talk's cheap. Actions speak louder than words. And we got to be living the actions every day, not the words.
And Wichita, obviously, and Creighton left a couple years ago. Now Wichita, what's it going to take for the Valley to just kind of maybe regain a little bit of the prestige it's lost?
Well, I think some programs that have been in the Valley for a while need to continue to improve, and Bradley being one of them for sure. And then hopefully we have some programs invest even more into their men's basketball program. I think it's an investment. I think if you go back and you look at what Wichita, how they invested financially into their program, whether it's facilities, whether it's salaries, whether it's travel, recruiting, whatever, they invested. And you always say you got to spend money to make money in a way, and I think you saw Wichita State really go in that direction, and it really benefited them and paid off. And I think you need to show signs of everything's moving in the right direction as a program to get your school and to get more supporters to invest into your program. And hopefully that's what we're going to do at Bradley, and I hope a lot of other programs in our league do that, because then programs get stronger, you win more, and then we're back to getting 2 or 3 teams or even more back in the tournament. And I know one day the Valley will get that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian, that was your final question. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, bye. Coach Dan Muller of Illinois State is scheduled to go next. Dan is unavailable. He is serving as a court coach in Colorado for the USA Basketball Training Camp, but we're honored to have with us Associate Head Coach Luke Yaklich from Illinois State. Good morning, Luke.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for picking up the slack for Dan this morning. Appreciate you having you on with us today.
Yeah, I love it. Dan's coaching the under-19, and I've got the little kids camp going here at Redbird, so things are going well.
Great. Well, let's get right to questions for Coach Yaklich. Questions from the media for Luke.
Press star and the number 1 to ask your question. Star and the number 1. Your first question is from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pantagraph.
Good morning, Luke.
Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Good. Could you just maybe talk a little bit about how it's gone so far with the summer workouts, and obviously a lot of guys will need to play different roles this year, and just kind of how long does maybe that transition take for some guys to kind of step into more prominent roles?
Well, it's a daily process for sure, Jim. We talk about that in the program with our culture, and something that Coach Muller addresses all the time. Each and every single day, as coaches, we're trying to build the program and build winning habits in our team and our players. And this summer, we're off to a great start. Our guys are working hard, putting the time in the gym, getting extra work in, being intense in the weight room and their approach towards development and learning, and being responsive to coaching. And most importantly, Jim, just about being together. When you get new guys, putting things together on the court, it's important. It's even more important off the court, in the locker room, and when they're with each other outside of basketball. And we've got a group that's going to be a big part of our development this summer, and it's again a daily habit and a daily process towards accomplishing that goal.
And as far as Keyshawn Evans, what is his timetable as far as getting back full go?
Keyshawn's been no one wants to be out there more than Keyshawn. He loves the game. He's a hard worker, and right now it's in the process of following doctors and Coach Munn's training orders, and it's kind of just a wait and see process. And when he's ready, he'll be back out on the court. But he's been doing very well with his conditioning thus far, and making sure that he's in shape, and when he's able to go full bore, that he's ready to go from a conditioning standpoint.
And is everybody on campus right now?
Yes, everybody's on campus.
Okay, Zach Copeland is on campus?
Yes.
Okay, and what are the expectations for Zach? Obviously, he comes in with some pretty good junior college accolades. How do you see him just kind of progressing?
Well, it's like everybody, Jim, on our team, that we have high expectations with a lot of our new guys this summer, and coaches always has high expectations for our guys, and really does a great job of pinpointing those things. And obviously, each guy has a goal and some things that they need to work on for themselves, and then things that we have established. And Zach, it's just about individual improvement every day, Jim, for all of our guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the standard answer in our program is get a little bit better every day. Build your skill, build your will, are things that Coach says a lot, and those things are done through the workouts on the court, through their own time in the gym, and then the time with Coach Swenson in the weight room as well. So I think that's a very standard answer for all of our guys, and obviously Zach is included in that mix.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Jim. Great to hear from you.
Your next question is from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Hi, Coach. I was just going to ask you about Phil Fain's progress. He had a pretty strong year last year, and without any seniors, he's one of your most experienced guys coming back.
Certainly. We expect a lot out of Phil, and the year that he had last year it gives him an opportunity to really get a taste of it, and Phil has done a great job really accepting what he needs to get better at every day. He's an unbelievably coachable kid. He works hard every day, is a sponge, and does a great job of making sure that he is paying attention to the details that the coaching staff, and in particular, obviously, Coach Muller, is given to him. And I really think he's the type of kid that, as a coaching staff, we believe is going to step into a leadership role and continue his leadership, both with his skill development. He likes being in the gym, and he's a really, really easy player to coach because he goes hard every day.
What are you stressing with him skill-wise? What do you hope to see him improve over the off season?
And I mean, like all of our players, we want to become better. It's kind of the things you do most in basketball: dribble, pass, and shoot. And obviously, Phil's improvement with his body as well. As all our guys, we want to make sure that their conditioning and their weight gains are where we need them to be in the weight room, and then on the court, becoming more skilled each and every day with our skill development program and the things that we do in the gym with our guys individually, and then on their own. Phil is taken to that, and he wants to become a better shooter, wants to become a better rebounder, better passer, those type of things that you would normally expect every player to want to be good at. Phil, he takes that personally each and every day.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Harry Schroeder with the Valley Hoops Insider.
Hey, Luke, I wanted to ask you about William Tinsley. I know he's a pretty highly rated JUCO guy, and you were just talking about the standard answers you have, but what are you guys kind of expecting from him?
Well, with Will's obviously a local kid, and you can see that from his development from high school to where he's at right now in terms of his size and strength, and it's continually gotten better. And with him, he has a chance to be a really effective scorer for us. He's a good shooter. He's got good length at 6'7". He's a hard worker. He likes being in the gym, and he really loves being a Redbird. So it's exciting. It's something that he wanted to do, wanted to be for a while, and we're delighted to have him. And we think he has a chance to be a really good scorer at the wing position for us.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Luke, that was your last question. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'll let you get back to camp. Appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thanks, Luke.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We do have Coach Paul Lusk of Missouri State on the line with us, and we welcome Paul to the phone. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Mike. How are you?
Sorry, we're a little behind schedule here. Thanks for your patience today.
No worries.
Well, let's get right to the questions for you. Questions from the media for Coach Paul Lusk of Missouri State.
Star 1, your telephone keypad to ask your question, star 1. First question is from Cody Goodwith with the Des Moines Register.
Hey there, Coach. I know it's been a couple months since he was hired, but I was wondering if you had any thoughts on a new Drake coach, Nico Medved, and what he is going to bring to both Drake and the Valley.
I really don't. I was unable to attend the coaches meetings in St. Louis earlier in the spring, so I didn't get a chance to see him, but I know he's done a good job. We had crossed paths a couple times when I was an assistant. I believe he was an assistant at Colorado State, but I think the good thing about listening to everyone as I was on the phone, I just think the league has got some good players coming back, and I really think Drake's got a lot of scoring power coming back. So I'm sure he's excited about the pieces that he has, and then he's added some guys. So I'm sure it's an exciting time at Drake.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Your next question is from Harrison Keegan with the Springfield News.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Great. Hey, had a couple of questions. First one about Tanvir Bular. How did he kind of get on your guys' radar, and what are some things that you're looking for him to do this season?
Well, Coach Sly did a great job recruiting him, and he comes from a great family. He was a fifth-year guy. I think in Tanvir's situation 2 years ago was his best year. He played about, I believe, 18 minutes a game and averaged 5 points and 5 rebounds. That's really good production for those minutes. And then Coach Menzies went to UNLV, and then one of the assistants got the job out there, Paul Weir, and changed a little bit of the style, and he didn't play quite as much this year, but kept a great attitude, was looking for a new start. He can score the basketball on the low blocks. We've been in school for a week. We've had a couple workouts with him, and we're very pleased to have him to our program. He's been a part of a winning program. He's played an NCAA tournament, and he's got some maturity. He's got his degree. We're excited to have him.
Great. And then the Pro-Am starts, I believe, this week at the courts. What would you like to see from your guys, or how do you want them to kind of handle that?
Oh, I mean, that's we're glad to be a part of it. I don't get to go out there to watch, so I know our fans do, and I think what we're probably concentrating on a lot more is what we're doing here throughout the week with the allotted time that we get from the NCAA, as well as weightlifting, as well as our guys just playing pickup on their own. So I think that's the thing we're really concentrating on.
Okay, great. And then last question for me, how's the scheduling going for you guys?
It's going. We still have numerous games to get, and we're working our tail off to do that. So it's a challenge, and we'll continue to work. There's a lot of calls being made, and it's never ending. But hopefully we can have everything done within the next month.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for your time, Coach.
All right, you bet, Harrison. Thanks.
Your next question is from Alec McChesney with a Standard at Missouri State University.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Good, Alec. How are you?
Hanging in there. So my first question is, you obviously know that the core group of players coming back is is good and it's something that you can look forward to. But what are you expecting from the incoming players?
Well, I think in particular, just the last 2 years, all of our new guys, starting with that freshman class, Obi and JD and Brian, and then we added obviously Daquan to that class and Jordan Martin, but our new guys have helped. And then if you look at last year, the new guys that we added, they really made an impact. So we feel good, as you mentioned, about the core group that we do have, and then we're looking for the new guys to come in and be good players and make us a better team, a better program. And the more competition that you have in practice, hopefully we'll do that. But we think all of those incoming players have a lot of great qualities, not only just from a talent standpoint, but also just from a personality standpoint. And that they've been fun to work with. But I've mentioned many times, those guys that have been in the program, that core group, they'll be the guys that lead the way. And hopefully there's some carryover from those guys that have been in the program to show those new players how we're trying to do things. So we've been very pleased with the returners as well as the incoming players.
Of course, obviously one of those returning players is Alize. In talking with him since his workout with the Celtics, what have you seen that he's learned and something that maybe he's working on to progress and to have an even better senior season?
Well, I think all of those experiences, just I think back to where he was a year ago when he showed up, and all that he has learned from the past year, whether it be from non-conference play, whether it be from workouts, whether it be from conference play, whether it be from getting an NBA workout. All of those experiences have helped him. And he works very, very hard. And he sets the tone as to what we're doing. And he's improved tremendously. And he still has growth left in his game. But I don't think it's just the one NBA workout with the Celtics that has made him better. I think he's a bright young man, and he's a very driven player, so he gets better from each experience. And he's having a great summer to this point. I think he's improved in a lot of areas. We saw great improvement in him from the time he arrived on campus. He works very hard, and I think he'll continue to do that. And I think the great thing, it's just not about him. It's really not. He's very helpful with all of the players, and I think that's a positive thing.
Absolutely. And another one of those players that's coming back after a short stint away is Ronnie Ruscia III. I was wondering, how have you been dealing with that, with his return? Has it been a smooth transition, and what can we expect from Ronnie going forward?
It has. It's been very smooth because he's been here, and he was a big part of what we were doing. Essentially, he missed the entire Valley season. He played in 2 games, and then took some time away. But we're thrilled to have him back. We've been in classes for about a week. Ronnie's doing a great job. He's very fun to coach. He's a great worker, and we expect him to have a very good season. Now, I think the positive thing for him was that he was able to go through a half a year with us, a summer and half a year. He has not been through the day in, day out stuff of the Missouri Valley. So I do think that'll be a new experience for him. But we're excited to have him. He's a very good player. Our guys really respect him. And it's just been great to have him back and see him smiling, and he's in a really good place.
Awesome. One more question. Pretty much every coach has been asked that, but what do you feel the state of the Valley is, obviously with Wichita leaving, Valpo coming in, and what the Valley might need to do to return to the spotlight?
Well, I think all of us just have to make improvements, whether a program's still in the league or whether they leave. You have to concentrate on what's in front of us. And, I know I really, you spend so much time focusing on your program, and that's really what we're concentrating on. We need to be better. We need to make improvements. And I really like our team. I think we've got a very good team, and I think we're going to have a fun season. So really that's all we're concentrating on. And I would imagine that every other team in our league is doing the same. And if we all have good seasons and if we're all better, it's going to help our league and help our brand.
That's perfect. Thank you very much, Coach.
You bet.
Your next question is from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Hey, Paul, with all the guys you have coming back and also kind of mixing some new guys in, do you scrimmage more with the hours that you have, or do you still do the same kind of workouts you have your usual summers with all the guys?
Yeah, well, in the spring, I think it started in the spring. We did a lot of individual workouts, and it's a happy medium. You're always trying to get your guys better on the fundamentals of the game, putting the ball in the basket, strength training, all of those different things, handling the basketball, passing the basketball. We've only been doing summer workouts for a week. We have done some individual work, but we've also done some competitive things because we do have new guys. So I think it's been a good mix of both.
Greg Williams, how has he looked, and what kind of impact do you think he'll have for you?
Greg he had one final surgery at the end of the spring, and he's still in the hospital. He's been in, it'll be going on 3 months, and there's been some setbacks, and our thoughts and prayers are certainly with him. I was just up to see him in St. Louis 2 weeks ago, and we're wanting to get him out of the hospital and get him back to campus. So he has been unable to work out.
Are you able to tell me what he had the surgery for? What's his prognosis?
He had to get the hernia fixed, and it's some of the same issues that he's had in the past. He's a very courageous young man. He's been through an awful lot, and we're just wanting to get him out of the hospital and get him back to campus. Right now, basketball is secondary.
And then, Coach, the grad transfer rule, it clearly isn't being used what it was intended for, but when they passed it. But has your opinion changed of it now that not only you but a couple other teams in the Valley have picked up a grad transfer, or do you still think it has to be tweaked in some way?
Oh, it's different. My first year here, and I can remember Conzo telling me, you need to get a point guard. And we ended up getting Mike Bazookas, who did not play ever, hardly, on the high major level. And very seldom do you see guys transfer down. So I think it goes both ways. I think it's really unfortunate when good players on lower levels are invested in from a time standpoint and developed, and then maybe they go to a higher level. There's no doubt that there's a big market with that. So I think it works both ways. We've got 2 fifth-year transfers that we feel will help us. They're good guys, and we're excited about having them.
Does it make you want to redshirt kids less? Does it make you think twice about redshirting a kid now, because of this possibility?
It doesn't for me. It really doesn't. And that's a great question, Todd, but I think everyone is so paranoid about it, and you certainly probably have to be, but I'll stick with what I said years ago. If a young man, I think they all can benefit from a red shirt, and if a young man needs to be redshirted, and it's the best thing for him, and his family feels that that's the best thing for him in terms of development, maturity, lack of minutes early in his career, we're going to do what's best for that young man at that time, period. That's what I'm going to do. And you say, well, 4 years later you could get burned by it, then so be it. You have to do what's best for that individual at the time. But there's no doubt that a lot of guys have invested a lot of time and redshirted players, and then they lose them. But I'm going to stick with doing what I think is best for that player and that person at that particular time.
Thank you.
You bet.
Your next question is from Harry Schroeder with the Valley Hoops Insider.
Hey, Paul, I wanted to ask you about Reggie Scurry and how you see he and Alizé playing potentially at the same time, and how their skill sets maybe, help each other or whatever. You're going to be a lot bigger this year overall, so how does that even change your game plan?
Well, I think he and Alizé will fight for every rebound. I hope they get every rebound. I hope they knock each other around going after the ball. But Reggie's going to help us. He's a very coachable young man. He's super athletic. He's got a very good touch. I think eventually he's going to be a guy that can make threes for us. He's going to be a good player, and there'll be growing pains for all new guys. But we like Reggie a lot, and he's got great length. He's a very hard worker. We signed him early, and we're excited to have him here. And I think they can, I guess, ultimately, Harry, they can coexist together. I think Alizé is continuing to improve to where we're going to be able to move him around in different spots, whether that be a wing spot. But, those two can play together.
And I'm sure I'm going to say the last name wrong, but Fofana, maybe I'm saying, from Burkina Faso. Tell me, how you found him?
Well, our entire staff has done a great job. I've got a great staff and just thrilled with those guys. And Coach Sly in particular found Abdul and developed a relationship with him. And he's another guy that has 3 years. He's a very intelligent young man. He speaks 6 languages. Harry, can you speak 6 languages?
No, but my daughter's been to Burkina Faso. That's why I'm so interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. But he's got a great story as to how he got to the States and found his way, and is relatively new to basketball. But we've said it in the recruiting process. He really has a servant mentality. There's not an ounce of entitlement to him. He's appreciative in all walks of his life. And he has been a lot of fun to work with. He's got a very, very good motor. He chases everything off the glass. I think the full-time strength training will really help him. He's got a good touch. I think he just continues to develop offensively, and we're excited to have him. And he's got 3 years, and we feel like he's going to be a good player for us.
Appreciate it, Paul. Have a good summer.
You bet. Thank you.
Your next question comes from Dave Reynolds with the Peoria Journal-Star.
Paul, your team is likely to be picked near or at the top of the league. How do you think your kids will respond to those expectations?
Well, I think we'll be fine, Dave. I really do. I mean, the reality is we've got one guy that is returning that has done it. That's a double-digit score. That's Alizé Johnson. Now, Ronnie was averaging 11 a game, but he didn't really play. I've played in 2 Valley games, but we feel good about our pieces. I don't think our guys should be poking their chest out about anything where you're picked, because it really doesn't matter. But we feel like we're going to have a very good team. We've got good players. We've got good people. I like the leadership that's in our program. We've got 5 seniors, three of them that have been with us for 1 year, starting their 2nd year, and then we've got 2 fifth-year guys that have been through the ups and downs of college basketball. And then I think more importantly, those 3 juniors that have been in the program for 2 years. Ryan Krecklow, Jared Dixon, and Obi Church. They've been in a lot of games. So the preseason rankings, that'll be fine. I mean, we all know that the games are not won there, but we feel like we're going to have a good team, and we have to go out and produce. I know our guys are excited about each other. Really, they're really excited. I know how excited Alizé and Jared Rhodes and even Ronnie Russo are about the new guys. So it's a good group, and we're looking forward to the season.
Thank you.
You bet, Dave.
Paul, that was your final question. Appreciate you joining us this morning, and thank you again for your patience. I know we're way behind schedule. Appreciate you calling back in.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Paul. Let's get next to Kyle Green, subbing for Ben Jacobson of Northern Iowa. Kyle Green joins us now. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Mike.
Thanks for sitting on the line listening to the other coaches speak this morning, and appreciate your patience as well.
Not a problem. Very educational. I enjoyed it.
Great. Let's get right to the questions for you. Questions from the media for Coach Kyle Green of Northern Iowa.
Press star 1 to ask your question. Your first question is from Cole Bear with the Cedar Rapids Gazette.
Hey, Coach. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, Cole.
So common thread last season during what was an up-and-down year was rebounding. And while Coach Jacobson mentioned it's not necessarily the hard and fast rebounding numbers, it's rebounding percentage that you guys look at. What, if anything, have you guys done specifically this offseason to address that, whether it be maybe lineup construction or practice drills, anything of that nature?
Good question, Cole. It really started in the spring with conversations and video and communicating to our guys as a staff and as a team. As we look back at last season, you always reevaluate what did we do well, what do we need to improve upon, and certainly that was an area that we need to improve upon. And it started in the spring, and really it's a mentality. And we've talked a lot about it. We've started to do some workouts, and in those workouts we've certainly emphasized rebounding. Individual rebounding, team rebounding, really nothing at this point in time with lineup construction. We don't do a whole lot in the summer. It's really individual based, and the teamwork we do is as a unit. It's not really first unit, second unit, third unit. So beyond emphasizing it, talking about it, and drilling it, those have been kind of the keys as we've gone into the summer so far.
One more for you, Coach. What, if anything, can you give us on the status of Wyatt Lohaus and his return from that ankle injury that kept him out last season and ultimately led to that medical red shirt?
Yeah, he's back at it. It's been really fun to watch him. Getting back to the old Wyatt. It's really looked good in our workouts. For probably now the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's been able to do all 5-on-5, completely cleared, played in their first summer league game on Sunday. Has really had no ill effects, and I think both physically and mentally, you're really starting to see the old Wyatt, and that's been fun for him, fun for his teammates to see him back and in the gym daily, which has kind of always been his routine. That's what makes him a great player.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Cole.
Your next question is from Clay Cunningham with the Waterloo Cedar Falls Courier.
Hi, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good, Clay. You?
Relatively well, I suppose. Thanks.
You got to do better than relatively well, Clay.
That's what I have to settle for now. But the day is still young. But
good.
Anyway, as far as your new players, how have you, with the early season workouts, how have you liked the way you've seen Taiwan, Austin, and Miles progress?
They've been great to this point. They've, first and foremost, they've picked things up really quickly. We've got a good majority of our team back, and when we have workouts, it's always interesting to see how those guys help indoctrinate the new guys and how they transition quickly. And Taiwan, Austin, and Miles have all picked, the things we've done in workouts and the things we've done as a team up quickly. They've really gotten after it in the weight room, and I think often that's the biggest adjustment when guys get to this level. They think they've worked hard in the past, and they have, but never as hard as they're going to work in what we're doing now. And that mentality on their part has been really good. And then all three of them have kind of hit the ground running. And Austin Fife had a bit of an injury issue with the sprained ankle that kept him out a week, but he's back in the action. And we've been excited about what they've shown so far and their attitude and effort.
Okay, and With as far as Taiwan goes, with what were your impressions of his first PTL performance? I know he had really impressive numbers.
Yeah, you know what kids are capable of when you're recruiting them. I guess you never know how they're going to respond to that first time they're wearing a jersey and playing at this level. And it's good competition. You're in front of a crowd there in the PTL, so you don't want to read too much into it. It is the most defensive-oriented league in the world. But you want to see how guys respond, and do they step up? And he certainly did. He made shots. It sounds like we're not obviously able to watch the games. But from talking to him and talking to his teammates, he felt really comfortable and felt like he played well, and it sounds like he played well. And I think that's kind of what we would expect and had hoped to see from him. So we were happy with that, happy for him.
Yeah, and as far as some of I know you got a fair amount of second-year guys, or just anybody like still coming up. Has anybody in that group stood out to you early in the preseason process? Yeah,
the guys have all come back with kind of a renewed sense of energy and vigor. So as a unit, we've had a couple of team workouts. We've done a lot of individual work. You expect guys like Luke McDonald and Spencer Haldeman, and Justin Dahl had mono, so he was out 8 weeks, and that kind of slowed his progression. But Luke and Spencer have really looked good in workouts. They've improved quite a bit. Happy with that. Adam McDermott, after redshirting last year, had a really good redshirt year. Has been really productive. His body starts to look a little better. He's physically in good shape. He's starting to get stronger. As I mentioned, Luke, he's put on some weight and got a little stronger. And I think even with Spencer, starting to understand the game a little bit and how he's going to get shots and how he needs to defend, how he needs to work on his game in order to improve. And then Juwan and Isaiah put a ton of time in, working on their offensive game, working on their shot. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you think you know when you come from high school to college of what it's going to be. But until you go through it, you don't. And what you want to look for as a coach is, do they accept that? Do they understand where they need to improve? And are they willing to work to get there? And with all those guys, Zay getting stronger, working on a shot, Juwan, same thing, getting in the gym, repetitions, going kind of above and beyond. They've done that. So we've been happy with that and happy with their progress and how they look in the workouts to this point.
Okay, and last question. It looks like it seems like Jeremy's maybe getting a little bit more buzz than he had been as a potential late second-round pick in the NBA draft this week. Just what are your thoughts on the progress he's made, and just what kind of prospect do you think he could be as an NBA player?
Coach Jake's got a lot of really positive feedback, and I don't think it surprises us because we know what his character is, and we know how hard he's worked at it, and the time he's put in since the end of the season, and how badly he wants it. So he's had, a number of, I think we're up to 6 now, workouts with the Spurs and the Rockets and the Magic and the T-Wolves and the Bulls, and every one he's become more confident. And I think that the feedback we're getting is that he does. He's got a chance to be a guy that maybe goes late in the second round, if not, in the summer league and as a free agent, and is a kid that they feel can improve and potentially grow into that role as an NBA player. So as a staff, we're really excited for him, happy for him and his family. They're wonderful people, and how hard he's worked. It's fun to see that rewarded.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks, Clay.
Your next question is from Dargan Southard with the Des Moines Register.
Hey, Coach. Just kind of wanted to build off that last question about Jeremy. Obviously, you guys have had a lot of success, over the last, 10, 15 years here, but to have an NBA draft pick come from Northern Iowa, I don't think that's happened in 40 years. What would that do to, kind of add more momentum, to the program to be able to kind of tout that, so to speak?
Yeah, those kind of things we've had a lot of guys knocking on the door. We've had a lot of guys in the last few years seem to be right there, get a lot of NBA workouts, get into the summer league, and as we've had more success as a team, they've had more of those opportunities. I think that's what you're seeing with Jeremy and the opportunities he's getting. He's really worked hard to earn these, and we're obviously hopeful that he gets drafted and finds a situation for him because that's what he wants. If not, and he goes to free agent and makes a team, that'd be great too. And it doesn't hurt you recruiting. It doesn't hurt to be able to have that, those opportunities. But more, it's about what'd be great for Jeremy and his family. And We feel like we've had guys in the past, and as we've individuals in the past that have been that talented and worked that hard, and what you see is this, it kind of comes to fruition when the team has success. They get more recognition and more opportunity, and that's great.
And then obviously, Jeremy brought so much from just a leadership standpoint. How have you seen maybe Bennett and Clint kind of amp up their leadership now as seniors, going through the early part here of the summer?
Yeah, that's really been fun to see. They have kind of stepped forward and taken on that role, embraced it, become more communicative, talking more, organizing the guys, getting a little bit, Coach Jake talks to them a lot about getting out of their comfort zone and growing as individuals. And when they grow as individuals, our team grows. And you've really seen that in the spring and then into the early summer here. And we're going to need it with the guys we have back. And we're looking forward to their growth and them getting better, and it only makes our team better. But they've done a great job at this point.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Your next question is from the line of Todd Hepperman with the Southern Newspaper.
Hey, Kyle, with the grad transfer rule, with recruiting, you guys have built, your program with a lot of red shirts. Are you less likely to redshirt guys, knowing how a lot of teams, mid-majors, are losing guys their senior year after they've developed them for 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, that's a good question, Todd. And there's a lot of talk in the summer when you're around coaches about those things, especially coaches at the mid-major and low-major level. I know what Coach Jacobson's approach is going to be. We're going to do what's in the best interest of the player. And at that point in time, we'll just evaluate, where are we with him? What does he want to do? What's going to be best for him? And really, you can't worry about, oh boy, if we redshirt this guy, then he graduates in 3 years, or if we allow this guy to go to summer school. That's not how we're going to run a program. Jake's never done that. Jake's always done what's best for the individual and best for the team. And so I can see where people would have that conversation, maybe think about it. But I know from the conversations we've had as a coaching staff that that end game has never been the thought process. We haven't worried about that. We're going to do what's best for everyone involved at this point in time, and if it gets to that point, we'll deal with that then.
Would you say that most coaches think it has to be tweaked in some way?
I would, from the coaches I've talked to, I think to a certain degree, yes, with the transfer rules in general, I think you'll see some changes with that, and grad transfer being a part of that, trying to get them all in line to make sense and be, I think it's probably impossible to appease everybody with the rule. But I certainly think that as a group, there's some consensus that there needs to be some tweaking, and it's talked about quite a bit.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Harry Schroeder with the Valley Hoops Insider.
Hey, good morning, Coach. You mentioned Adam earlier. Because of his last name, a lot of people are curious about what you guys expect from him and what kind of pressures and/or obstacles, hurdles does he face having that last name?
Yeah, we don't hold Adam to any different standard than we hold anybody else on the team to, and our expectations are the same for him as they would be for anybody. We want Adam to be the best player he can be. Certainly not comparing him to his cousin or his uncle or anybody else in his family. He's an individual, and we're excited to have him on our team, and he's going to be a contributor and a factor in what we do moving forward. He doesn't carry himself or doesn't talk as if or act as if he feels any extra pressure. I think he's obviously proud of his family and the things they do, but he's his own man, and we kind of treat him that way, or we do treat him that way, and he's got high expectations because he puts those expectations on him, and we've got expectations for him because we know how good he can be.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Coach, that was your final question, and we're going to have to get to our next two coaches who are both have a hard out. So we're going to go right to Nico Medved, and we might not have Barry because Barry's got to be gone at 11:30 as well. But let's have Nico join us right now, and I know we're way behind schedule, and I appreciate the coaches that have been staying on. But welcome, Nico. Thank you for joining us.
To be here. Appreciate you having me.
Let's get right to the questions for you. I know you're in the middle of camp, and Barry's got to go in a few minutes as well. So we'll get the questions for Nico right now and try to get to Barry if we have time.
Press star 1. Our first question is from Todd Kim with the Radio Iowa.
Nico, the increased amount of contact coaches have now with players in the summertime, how much of a help is that for a coach in your situation taking over a new program?
Hey, Todd. I think it's critical, and I've actually done it a little bit different than I've done it in the past. I've been doing a lot of team stuff, just like you said. I mean, we're all new here, new staff, me being a new coach, and just had the ability to connect with these guys and kind of start to culture and expectations, just getting to know them and them knowing what I expect, and to kind of slowly install our system, just getting a comfort level with each other. I think that's critical. And had we not had that opportunity, boy, you really feel like you're behind the 8 ball come the fall. But it's been great, and I'm really taking advantage of it. Really, a lot more stuff this summer than I would typically do.
Your next question is from Cody Goodwitz with the Des Moines Register.
Hey, Coach. I know you guys have gotten probably a week's worth of workouts in, but what have you maybe seen from Gibbs and Noah Thomas in the first week, and what do you feel like they can offer you, where you want them to be by August?
Hey, Cody. I really like these two kids, and they're coming in. First of all, they're kids. They have good quickness, length, athleticism, and what's interesting with these guys, okay, they're freshmen, and yeah, they don't have the experience of these other guys, but keep in mind, it's new for everyone, right? Even the seniors and the upperclassmen that were back, what we're doing is new, and these kids have just integrated really, really well, and they're both going to be really good players in the Valley. How quickly that happens, it's just way too early to tell. But I know myself and our staff, we're really excited about those guys, and we think they each have a chance to have an impact.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.
Your next question is from Harry Schroeder with the Valley Hoops Insider.
To us a little bit about how you put together your coaching staff and what those guys are bringing in terms of trying to cultivate that culture you're talking about.
Man, I'm so lucky. You figure out really quickly when you become a head coach. If you have really good players who are good people, and you have really assistant coaches, they make you look like you know what you're doing. We've been really fortunate. Davison's a guy who's arguably the most successful high school coach in Minnesota state history, and he and I are friends ever since we got in the business. Really, really fortunate for him. Obviously, as good of a coach as I know, as good of a person, and just believes at heart all the core values that I do. And he's a great teacher, and he's really done a great job so far with these guys and integrating into our culture. And then, everybody knows Ali. I mean, Ali's Farouk Banesh. He's a legend in Iowa. Just a phenomenal kid, great teacher of the game, connects well with people, connects well with recruits, and obviously connects great with our fan base and students. And so he's been a great addition to us, and it's been seamless with these guys. And J.R. Blunt's another guy who I kept on staff here. It was really, really easy for me to see through people that we knew that he was a rising star in the business, an incredibly hard worker, does a great job with our kids and recruiting. And so those guys right there have really made my job a lot. So I'm really fortunate, and I feel really great about our staff and the direction that we're going.
Thanks, Coach.
Your next question is from Todd Heberman with the Southern Newspaper.
Yeah, Coach. How would you describe the style of the Southern Conference comparing it to the Valley?
Gosh, I don't know. You watch go through the league at least time, and do you really get? My sense of it is in the Southern Conference, we've had a lot of different styles. I mean, we have running, matchup zone. There's a lot of different styles. To me, it looks like, there's a lot more similarity between the styles of Valley teams, but it's just way too early for me to tell. And I know one thing, there were great coaches in the Southern Conference. There's tremendous coaches here in the Valley, and we're kind of work cut out because every night out you're going to go against a team that plays hard, is well prepared, has good players. But I'm kind of excited to get a feel for that myself, and part of that challenge is getting a feel for the league and to that and for that, but it's just too early for me to really know.
And some of your best teams have been pretty good defensively. You've got some long guards. Do you see some defensive elements of the guys that you have? You know, the limited time you've seen them play.
I do. I mean, boy, we've got a lot of work to do in all areas, but you know, defensively, you can look at pretty much every statistical category. We were the worst team in the Missouri Valley, and we're going to have to improve that way, and we will. We've been primarily doing stuff with our offense and skill work and stuff as a team, and we haven't started to do much defensively. But I think a lot of defense, it's length and athleticism, but it's a mindset. Kids are a lot of times more selfish defensively than they are offensively. Getting our guys to be more connected on both ends of the floor, I think, is a real challenge, and we're going to have to start. That's going to have to be who we are, and if we don't improve defensively, we've really got no chance to make a jump. And so, but I'm excited about that. One thing I know about these kids that I've seen so far is they're really good people. They're willing. They've been great embracing me and my staff, and so we've had a lot of fun so far.
Thank you.
Nico, thanks for joining us. I know you're in the middle of camp. We'll let you get back out there. Appreciate your time this morning.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Nico. Let's get quickly to Coach Barry Henson of Southern Illinois. He's got a hard out. He's got to leave in just a couple of minutes, but we'll get to Barry real quickly for a couple of questions, and then we'll welcome Coach Henson to the line. Good morning, Coach. Thanks for your patience.
You bet, guys. I'm going to give my best Bill Belichick responses today, so let's go.
All right, questions for Coach Barry Henson.
Press star number 1. Your first question is from Harry Schroeder with the Valley Hoops Insider.
Barry, what are you expecting from Bartley this year? And tell me about the health condition, all that, of Gooch.
We expect Marcus to contribute immediately, and Gooch is healthy. Thank you, Bill Belichick.
Thanks, Bill.
You guys better get this on tape, because this ain't ever going to happen again.
All right, next question.
Your next question is from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pantograph.
Barry, could you just talk about the state of the Valley right now, and how does the league kind of get things going in the right direction, especially with losing a premier program like Wichita?
Well, I'm not going to talk about anybody we lost, but I'd love to talk about somebody we added. Really excited about Valpo. I think you're looking at the Wild Wild West next year, Jim, that everybody that came in this summer thinks they can win a championship. I think you're looking at possibly one of the greatest Valley races that we've had in quite some time.
Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
Your next question is from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Coach, just Teague Bowles' development, and what do you hope to see him prove this year?
He's got to get better defensively. He's got to get better playing with his back to the basket, and he's got to be more consistent.
And is everybody here? Pippen and McGill?
No, not everyone is here.
Who is not here yet?
Kavion and Eric McGill are not here.
Okay. Thanks.
Coach, that was it, and you were a much sharper dresser than what I've seen of Coach Belichick.
Well, you didn't know, but I got a hoodie on right now. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Barry. Appreciate it. Let's get next to our next coach on the schedule, Coach Marty Simmons of Evansville. And I know, Marty, you've been very patient as well, having to call in and call back in a couple of times. Thank you for joining us about an hour late, but thank you for joining us, Marty.
No problem, Mike.
All right, we hopefully have a little bit more time with Coach Simmons. Let's get to questions for Coach Marty Simmons from the media.
Press star and the number 1 to ask your question. Your first question is from Cody Goodwith with the Des Moines Register.
Hey there, Coach. I know it's been a couple months since he's been hired, but I was curious about your thoughts on new Drake coach Nico Medved and what he'll bring to that program as well as the Valley.
Yeah, just super impressed with him. Had a chance to meet Nico over at the conference meetings. I know he's been successful every place he's been. I've heard nothing but terrific things about Nico.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.
You betcha.
Your next question is from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pantograph.
Marty, you heard Barry say he expects the Wild Wild West in the Valley this season. Is that kind of your expectations too?
I think it'll be fantastic, Jim. I think it's been really good here in recent years, and I think it'll be good again. A lot of teams have several core returning players that everybody has high expectations for. Adding a quality program like Valparaiso, I think we're really, really lucky. They've been super successful themselves, and to add them to the league, I think is a really good thing.
And where does Evansville maybe fit in the whole equation, do you see?
Time will tell. I mean, we're excited about our guys. We lost, obviously, some guys that played quite a bit for us last year, but like everybody else, we feel like we've got a good core group returning that know what we expect. Got some guys returning from injury. Had a guy redshirted, and then I think our new players will really add to our program as well. So I think we certainly have a chance to be competitive.
Could you talk about maybe some of the new guys and kind of what type of players they'll be for you?
Yeah, Marty Hill is a young man from northeast Nebraska, about 6'5", 180 pounds, 185 pounds, long, athletic, loves the game, loves to be in the gym, brings the athleticism to our team a lot like a Jalen Brown did last year. Noah Frederking from over at Oakville, smart, tough, really skilled player, knows how to play, can shoot it, good hands, just a real cerebral player. Evan Kuhlman is a 6'8", 220-pound stretch four, can really shoot the basketball with range. Again, tough, kind of fits the mold of an Adam Wing in our program. Danius Akavicius is a big, strong, physical, 6'9", 240, from up at Vincennes. We think brings bulk and strength and can move his feet and got good hands inside. And then the young man that redshirted, John Hall, about 6'7", 215, long, athletic player that can play the 3 or 4, good offensive rebounder, runs well, has the ability to shoot the 3.
Now, is Blake all cleared for everything? Is he okay to go?
Yeah, he's doing great. I know he's glad to be back, and he's working really hard, but he's 100% go now.
Great. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Coach, you've had the scoring leader in the Valley a couple years in a row, I believe. Is Ryan Taylor going to be the next one?
Time will tell. He certainly has the potential. I mean, he's working really hard, and at times last season, which was his first full season in the league, I mean, he had some outstanding games for us. I think he'll learn a lot from that experience. He's somebody that we think can score in a lot of different ways, not just, he's a great shooter, but athletically, he's one of our best athletes. He can get to the rim. One area we'd like to see him get a little better at is just getting to the free throw line. He's such a good free throw shooter, but I think he can be an outstanding scorer for us, yes.
And, what did you really hope? I guess, do you think he deferred to Jalen at times, or do you think he'll be he'll be a little bit more centered player without Brown having the ball as much, or how do you think that will work out with Brown not being there this year?
I don't think he really deferred. And I think confidence is a fickle thing, and it goes up and down during the course of a season. But I think Ryan, I was really pleased with how he played. I think JB he got his confidence at a level it hadn't been, at least from an offensive standpoint, and he just became super, super aggressive, and he did a great job. But I really look, I mean, just in our workouts since the season, I mean, Ryan has really worked extremely hard. He's as confident as I've ever seen him, and I certainly look for him to take that next step.
Thank you.
You betcha.
Marty, that was your final question. I appreciate your time this morning, and again, thank you for your patience today.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Marty. Excited to introduce our next coach. We have with us from Valparaiso, Matt Roddick, head coach of Valparaiso Crusaders. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. Again, thank you for your patience. I know you've been on a long time listening in and getting the scoop on the other teams in the league, but appreciate you joining us today.
Hey, I'm taking notes, man. This is valuable information for me.
All right, let's get to the questions for you. Questions from the media for Coach Matt Laddick.
Press star and the number 1 to ask your question. Star and the number 1.
I'm sorry? What's it? Oh.
They're asking questions. It's for reporters.
Please press star and the number 1 to ask your question of Coach. Your first question is from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pentagraph.
Hello, Matt, and welcome to the Missouri Valley.
Hey, thank you.
Just kind of want to get your thoughts, how much you knew about the Valley a couple months ago and how much you know now, and where do you see Valpo fitting in the whole equation for next season?
You know, I grew up in the Chicagoland area, and so, you know, have a lot of history watching the Valley just as a young man growing up. And, you know, obviously the Valley is something that I don't think it's a surprise to anyone, something that we aspire to as an institution, as an athletic program. So, you know, knew a lot, and, you know, for us, you know, making this transition and being a relatively young team, but I will tell you that we have a lot of motivated young men that are dialed in and excited about a new challenge. And, you know, when we take the floor, we're going to give everything we got. You know, it's kind of always been our MO, and I expect us to be competitive, but we also understand that it's a step up. So we're going to come in, we're going to compete, we're going to give everything we got, we're going to lay everything on the line every night, and you know, we're going to do things the right way. And so excited about the opportunity again, and looking forward to being competitive.
Obviously, you lost a couple of really good players, and obviously Peter's a great player. I know you had a couple of transfers who sat out last year. How long do you think it'll take for your team to just kind of, everybody to kind of find their roles and find their spots next season?
Well, I mean, you know, it starts now. Obviously, our time with our guys is pretty limited, but we do have good senior leadership. We have 2 Canadian guards that have, you know, really taken over the leadership responsibilities. You know, we have a motivated group, like I said earlier. I think we're going to be a much better team in March than we're going to be in November. But you know, we're going to be a team that can kind of, you know, get better every single day with practice and with games. And so, you know, early on we might take some bumps, we might not. But by the end of the year, I think we're going to be a tough out.
And when you're a new team in a league, is that an advantage for you guys a little bit, or is there a disadvantage because obviously, you know, you haven't seen the coaches or the styles of play like most of the other guys have in the league?
I think, you know, it can work twofold, right? We haven't seen them, but they haven't seen us as much either. So there will be an adjustment on probably both ends. But again, you know, it's basketball, and, you know, a lot of, you know, what we do in preparation is going to be, you know, understanding what a team's trying to do offensively. And, you know, for us, it's going to be the same as watching film and, you know, understanding calls. And so it'll be new for us, but it'll be new for them. But again, you know, our rules defense, you know, it shouldn't be too big of a difference.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Your next question is from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Hi, Coach. Alec Peters has obviously gotten a lot of looks for the NBA. Do you think he will go in the draft, or do you think he'll be more of a free agent?
I fully expect Alec to get drafted. You know, the one thing that NBA teams do a lot of is their homework. When you're making $1 million investment, you do a lot of homework, and so I've, you know, had conversations with a lot of teams, and you know, a lot of teams like Alec a whole lot, and obviously has the injury to overcome, but he should be cleared here for individual workouts, or I think he has been cleared for individual workouts. And so, you know, one thing I tell every team, I said, you'll never cut him. You absolutely will never cut Alec Peters, and you know, given the shot, given the opportunity, he's gonna be a long-term NBA player.
And could you tell us just a little bit about Walker and Joseph, the 2 Canadian guards you kind of mentioned? What's the best thing they do on the court right now?
You know, for Tavon, he's been a 3-year starter for us, and so really when Alec got hurt, we were depleted. We had a lot of guys hurt. Shane Hammock was hurt at the end of the year. Obviously Jabril Adekoya was suspended, so those are starters for us. But Tavon really took the reins, and I think that he can be much more efficient of a scorer and defender than he's been, and I expect him to have a great senior year. And then Max Joseph's just, from the day we got eliminated in the NIT, he has been in the gym, and he's extremely motivated. And both of them they really are physical specimens. It's kind of the best way to put it. They're extremely athletic, extremely strong, and they have, really dedicated themselves to go out with a bang.
Thank you.
Your next question is from Cody Goodwith with the Des Moines Register.
Hey there, Coach. I know you're new to the Valley, and so is Drake coach Nico Medved. I was wondering if you had a chance to kind of get to know the guy, and if you had any preliminary thoughts on how he and both you guys will help bolster the Valley.
I haven't had much of an opportunity, but I did follow him a little bit when he was at Furman, and so have admired him from afar. I think July will be the opportunity to really spend some time together on the recruiting circuit. But I know he's done a fantastic job, and have admired him from afar.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Coach, looks like that was your final question. Appreciate you hanging on for a while this morning and joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks. And this does conclude our call. Just a reminder that the call will be archived on our website shortly, and we also have a one-on-one segment with Coach Vladeck with Derek Dock of our staff. It's also available on our website if you want to get a little bit more information about Valpo and the coaching staff for the Crusaders. And at this time, this does conclude our call today. Thank you for joining us.